Welcome to another Founder Wisdom podcast with Glenn Bill. Today with us, Glenn is America's #1 attitude keynote speaker. He's an international best-selling author, founder as well, serial entrepreneur, and host of GAP. So we're gonna talk about that today. We're gonna talk about Glenn's career as a speaker, as an author. I am eager to learn a bit more about attitude and dive in the nitty gritty, because we all know that having a positive attitude is needed, a go-to attitude. But as CEOs, we've probably heard it all. So I'm interested to hear more about Glenn when it comes to attitude in CEOs and founders today. This podcast is brought to you by podfire.com. That's my podcasting agency. If you want to monetize your pods, we've got the unconventional strategies for you. So go to podfire.com for that. Glenn, welcome to the pod. Tell me a bit more about yourself and about what you're up to nowadays.
Awesome. Well, Charles, thanks so much for having me, and congratulations on the success of your podcast. Charles, we do a whole lot of different things. I started my career as a real estate broker, and I still practice real estate, commercial and residential. We've just created a new word and a whole new segment called Becoming a Realtorpreneur. The real estate market is taking a turn for the worse. Commission suppression is real. Technology and the evolution of the real estate brokerage business is really squeezing the real estate agent and broker that is out there. And so as I do, I've been able to generate multiple sources of income. And so we do that. I did that, number one, by starting a company called the University of Attitude. The University of Attitude started as a international best-selling book. It derived into international and national keynote speeches for Fortune 500 companies. We then started our podcast called the Get Attitude Podcast, The Gap, which is now in its 3rd season. And we've had some of the most famous and notorious authors, speakers, professional athletes on that podcast. So if your listeners are looking for somewhere to go get attitude and get a positive attitude and hear unbelievable stories with unbelievable guests, they can go to getattitudepodcast.com and have their choice of over 160 interviews. We also own and operate and manage several real estate portfolios, mostly ours, not anybody else's. And that's what we're up to. We're busy. We got 5 grandkids, so I'm chasing them around, having a lot of fun with them. And we are now embarking on a new commercial venture for commercial lending called Comm Loan that I'm heading up as well here in the United States, that allows people to become an actual conduit for commercial loans and get paid for placing those loans with over 700 banks that are on our platform right now. So certainly in our short time, I can probably go on, but those are some of the things that we're engaged in right now.
Very exciting. Okay, let's focus on the attitude part. So attitude is equal to mindset. What's the attitude and the mindset to have as a very successful founder and CEO?
Well, sure. We define attitude as the way you dedicate yourself to the way you think. And so, my attitude and my mindset is very simple. I take things one day at a time. Certainly we goal set. Certainly we dream cast. We're actually getting ready to have a big event in Indianapolis on unconventional goal setting. But when we really talk about mindset, it's a day-by-day conscious choice to remain positive, to keep our eyes open to the opportunities that exist in front of us. Because we know this, if you're not looking for opportunity every day, very rarely will you seize it. Will you see it, and almost never will you seize it. So, this thing called attitude is a day-by-day commitment. It's a day-by-day commitment on how you think and how you interpret things that are going on. So, no matter how bad things are, I always believe that they work out for the best. And if you ever look at my business card, which I'll put up there. The old number 8 is love adversity. And so we know that through our 10 attitude boosters that look at, if you're not having adversity, you're probably not alive. We know that adversity is the mother of being a persistent person. And so we always go out and encourage our followers and our listeners that if there's things that are going wrong in your day, you ought to be really, really glad, because look at, nobody's going to pay you to not solve problems that aren't there, right? People get paid in the sales industry because there's challenges and adversities, and that's how we show our value, by helping people guide through that. So in short, it's a daily commitment to the way you think. It's the ability to see the good in every situation, and more importantly, in every person.
Love it. And okay, let's take a concrete example of that. The real estate market is not doing super good nowadays. How are you changing your mindset, or how are you reacting or flowing with the current external environment internally nowadays?
Well, I can tell you, every morning we wake up and open our computer, and the first thing we look at is the price reduction report. And so the bottom line is in our market, we have 20 to 25 properties that are being discounted $5,000 and $10,000 every day, right? Maybe not the same property, but we're seeing all the fat from the real estate market get trimmed, and it's becoming much more lean. And consequently, we're finding that there are the best opportunities to own real estate right now. And it probably will get a little bit worse. I've actually purchased 2 properties in the last 30 days that we're going to go in and buy, fix up, and flip. So, we have gained market share in down markets. And quite honestly, it's the agents that aren't very good. What do? They quit. So what's that mean? That means that there's less competition chasing fewer deals, which is even better. So the time to ramp up ad dollars, the time to ramp up your sphere of influence contacts, the time to ramp up personal investment, the time to go out and buy properties is right now. That down markets are where millionaires are made, no matter what industry it's in. So we have a keynote address that's called 10 Reasons Why, 10 Reasons I Hope It Gets Worse. We love bad markets because you know why? There's a lot of money to be made. So when it's good, everybody's working. There's multiple offers on homes. We're telling people bad news. You didn't get this home. You didn't get that home. We're being worked to the bone. Hell, right now, nobody's working. So we're working. We're doing deals. We're buying real estate. And we're thankful for the downturn. And to be honest with you, the 3-year binge that we've been on since COVID, a lot of real estate agents went nuts and got tired. They're exhausted. And sometimes it's good to enjoy the winter, the season of winter in your industry. So that's what we really try to help people understand, is that when things slow down, it's not bad. It's a great time to take new personal inventory, set new goals, brush up on that CRM. There's so much you can do that's just not going out there and selling and selling and selling. And then when the market gets back, you're going to be in a really, really good position to take advantage of the up market.
So you're taking souls, basically, like Goggins, people that are not working while you're working, you're taking their share, and you derive joy out of that.
Very much so. I actually just posted a picture of me and David Goggins in the airport at Phoenix the other day. We ran into each other. It was on Facebook. So love him. He's an Indiana boy. He's from Indiana, where I'm from, and certainly just a wonderful person to follow.
I agree. Yeah, like one part of your weaponry, right? Like you don't want to use Goggins as a main weapon all the time, but you do want to have him as a shotgun, and you might want to have an RPG too, and a bunch of other cool weapons to your armory. I think, yeah, in the age of empathy and sometimes men effemination, I think it's good to dive down in your true roots and be competitive, and fight for what's yours. I think some people have gone way too soft with the EQ things nowadays, and you need to go get what's yours, feed your family, feed yourself, have fun, thrive, be the alpha in your field, and then yes, help your immediate community. What about people that have an attitude and are just a pain to be around? How do you deal with those? How do you modify your own mindset to fit their lack of, I don't know, I would call it IQ and EQ, because people with an attitude also lack IQ, in my opinion. They're just dumb and they just waste everyone's energy. So how do you deal with these folks?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the point is we don't deal with them, right? So when there's people that only take in my life, then they're gone. And so when you build a fulfilling life, when you become attractive, when you're helping so many people, when there's a rotten egg, you know what? We don't even deal with them. So as cold as that sounds, there's really, I have no time to deal with negative people. If people think I'm wrong, people think I'm phony, people think I'm full of hot air, then I just let them think it, because you know what? I cannot control the uncontrollables. And there's people that you just can't control. Not that I try to control people, but people that can't control their emotions, which is number 6 on our card, very seldom interact with me very well. So my advice is run for the hills. You can be nice. Take an inventory. How many times am I around them? The great Jim Rohn had 3 questions. It's number 1, who am I hanging around? Number 2, what do they have me reading, listening to, saying, and doing? And then number 3, is that okay? And then what you need to do is say, okay, do I need to spend more time with these people, the same amount of time, or less time? Those are the 3 questions for relations with other people. And I always find that it's best to limit. So if you're spending every day with somebody who's negative and has a bad attitude, maybe you just need to spend with 1 day, 1 hour a quarter with them instead of 1 hour a day. So to take an inventory of who you're hanging around is probably the most important thing you can do.
Love it. Nowadays, how do you split your time between books, between speakership, between real estate? What does a day in your life look like?
Yeah, so the greatest thing about my life, and I've designed it this way, is that I'm never really sure what's going to happen. I mean, oftentimes I do have a schedule, and I'm running hour to hour. But the one thing I always do is I never really schedule appointments unless they're after 11 o'clock. So every morning of the week, I get to take a look at what's going on from 11 to 6, and then work on the things that aren't planned for me that day. So if I have a day from 11 to 6 that's podcasting and speaking and offering a course, then from 6 to 11, I'm going to be working in real estate. If I got real estate appointments from 11 to 6, then you know what? I'm going to be working on podcasts and things like that. So I love waking up, never having the same day twice. I love having multiple sources of revenue that I can work on each and every day, because sometimes things are hot and sometimes they're not. But that's really how I do it. I leave my mornings open for flex time, and then we schedule. And I have a scheduler, so I don't schedule my own time. Probably the most valuable tip I can give to people is stop scheduling your own time. Have somebody else schedule it, because oftentimes we make excuses on why we can't perform or do something that we know we should do. But boy, when you got a scheduler whose income depends on you being in front of people that can pay you, trust me, they're going to get you in the right place at the right time. So that's how I manage my time.
Love it.
Thank you.
So yeah, the challenges that you faced over the last couple of years, or your full career, what have they been and how have you resolved them?
So, I never really see anything as challenges, only opportunities. Some people, many people said, Glenn, you should, be specific to be terrific. You should only do one thing, right? And so my biggest challenge was, I have an old saying, I don't like taking advice from people that are more screwed up than me. And so my biggest challenge is I had a lot of people that were more screwed up than I was giving me advice. And to really believe in yourself and your mantra and what you do, and to not let other people dictate how you think and tell you how you should live your life, I think is the biggest problem anybody has, right? And so the bottom line is I am a daily studier of attitude. I have great mentors. I'm always reading. I'm always listening to people that are more successful than me, than people that aren't. And so I would say that's really my biggest challenge is, listening to people who create self-doubt in you and tell you that they think they have a better idea and plan for your life than you do. So I encourage everybody, live your dream, have a dream. And if you guys want more information, or if you want to know how to do that, or have me and some of my partners come in and do a dream cast or a goal cast with you, just go to glennbill.com, fill out a form, and we can talk.
Right. Last but not least, what would be your goals for next year? What do you have top 3?
So our top 3 goals are, we've created something at the University of Attitude called the Attitude Fest. And our hallucination for Attitude Fest is very simple. We have what we call an Attitude Ambassador program. It's more or less a mastermind. And we are going to find 50 people, one in every state, to be our Attitude Ambassador. Once they sign up to be an Attitude Ambassador, they will be able to license everything we do, and they'll be able to host their own Attitude Fest in their state or country. And so one of our big tools is we would like to land at least 20 ambassadors by Global Attitude Awareness Day, which is April 20th. We would like those ambassadors to have some form of an Attitude Fest in their marketplace. We help these ambassadors get free press, TV, radio, newspaper. We help these ambassadors network with the most powerful people in their marketplace. We teach them how to raise money for 20 501c3s. And so, Attitude Fest, our ambassador program, is certainly going to be one of the biggest things that we're taking on. And that involves more than just one goal. That involves several goals. But then we always still want to sell anywhere between 30 and 50 million in real estate. We always like to host our real estate sales training, Source of Sales. We want to do 4 Source of Sales events next year. And as always, we always like to be on the big stage doing keynotes of anywhere between 24 and 36 keynotes a year. So those right now are my biggest goals, and to keep happy and to make sure that I'm loving on the people that need to be loved on, and helping my family create the greatest life they can create.
And again, Glenn, where can people find out more about you or read your books?
Sure, they can go to glennbill.com, GLENNBILL.com. You can get my podcast there. You can see everything we're doing at the University of Attitude there. You can get our personal development programs there, and you can learn about me as a keynote speaker at glennbill.com. That's the whole place to find me. And if you want to see my real estate site, it's glennbillgroup.com. But for the people listening to this, I would say this is probably the best place to get me.